Adrian's filling in for.
Okay, I don't have it pulled up, but the minutes are attached in your packet.
That's true, they are.
Shelley.
So does anybody have any changes that need to be made to the minutes?
Jim, any questions?
No.
Whoa. Okay, so can I have a motion to accept the minutes as they were circulated?
I'll so move.
Okay, a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Wave your hands.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. And we'll move on to the staff report.
And I didn't know so many people were going to be calling in, so I actually created a little presentation. So I'll share my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that we've got a few things on staff report that I'd like to talk about. My agenda. First is we're done with our Alfresco Dining. Several of you made it down. I feel like it was a very good success. Our businesses did well. A lot of our retail, some of our retail stayed open late to catch some of the foot traffic, which was nice. And they're all wanting to look into about doing this, look into the possibility of doing this on a regular schedule, maybe next year, like the first Friday of each month. And so that could be a nice retail promotion. And so I just wanted to add a few pictures. I know that Sister Nancy didn't make it down. I'm getting the echo. Can everyone mute?
Oh, sorry, I'm on.
And so I know that Sister Nancy didn't make it now, so I wanted to include a few pictures to kind of show how nice it was, especially when the train came through. But I'm getting ready to communicate with our businesses because I'd really like to understand some of the economics behind the Alfresco. So I'm going to get our restaurants to compare the Friday and Saturday nights that we did Alfresco versus some of the nights that we did not do Alfresco, because I'm kind of curious to know economically how they did, and so we can kind of have some numbers behind the Alfresco. It was well attended during July 4th and the fireworks. Cassidy did a good job of getting some fireworks lined up. And we had a really nice crowd downtown. So again, it was a nice evening. Something that if you haven't seen our little pictorial history wall, Luke Manlove asked about putting some pictures along the side of their building, and he had them printed on the vinyl, and so they can be removed. And he's wanting to do kind of temporary pictures throughout the year, and so it's added a nice little image, of downtown, especially when you're coming down. You really very visible. Last night, had the big red heart. I should have taken a picture of it last night of our Belmont Strong. But that's getting a lot of attention. And so Luke Manlove did this. And so if you see Luke, if you like it, tell him, thank you. And let's encourage him to do some more. Meraki has changed her business model. She is now more of a flower shop, which is nice. And so her business has really picked up. She's delivering flowers. So if you need any flowers, we now have Meraki Flower Shop in downtown. Of course, now we have Twisted Sugar. I think we all are kind of excited about Twisted Sugar coming into town. And so now they're holding their grand opening on August the 12th. And I've spoken with Jimmy, and really nice guy, and he and his girlfriend are really excited about opening Twisted Sugar. And just before August 12th, if you did not know, we have Bell Boutique coming in right next to Twisted Sugar in the other Jonathan Taylor's other side where the Nationwide Insurance used to be. So this is creating a lot of buzz, and so we're excited about having Bell Boutique come to downtown. It's going to add some more retail to our downtown, which will be very nice. North Main Station is coming along. Yesterday, they were actually caulking and painting, and the last time I spoke to Steve and Talia, the only lease that they had signed was a yoga studio. Because I have not spoken with them in the last few weeks about any other potential retail, but I feel like now that we have these spaces becoming a little more finished, they'll probably get a little more interest, which is nice. But the project's really looking really nice if you haven't been on the backside there on Glenway. I've been working on our reinvestment statistics, which are due at the end of July to the North Carolina Main Street program. And even though we've had kind of some slow times during COVID-19, business has been really good in downtown Belmont. So this is what I have so far as far as, and these are net numbers because these do take into account jobs lost, businesses lost. So these are our numbers so far. So as far as net new businesses, we have a total of 7, full-time jobs 62, part-time jobs 70, and our private investment right now is $5.3 million. Any questions? Scout wants to know if you have any questions. So that's my staff report. If anyone has any questions.
That was a great report, and I love the pictures. Thanks for sharing.
Phil, this is Adrian. I was at TechWorks yesterday meeting the new president of Gaston College, and Terry gave us a tour. And they are 100% occupied with businesses for the co-working spaces. So I don't know if you've captured any of those, but you may want to reach out to Terry. They've got some really cool companies in there.
I have not communicated with Terry about businesses, so those are not captured in there. So I'm actually going today because I'm taking them some new some masks and hand sanitizer. So I will talk with Terry. So thank you.
Okay, any questions for Phil?
This is Angela. I just have one request. Phil, if you would email the new businesses that are coming the link so we can get them on the kiosk. And,
Yes.
and also Meraki so we can adjust her description.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah, good thought.
Anything else for Phil? Okay, Emily, do you have a report for the design committee today?
I do, and Phil, I love the visual PowerPoint along with your presentation. Thank you for that. Design committee, we have a few grant updates. We do not have the KBN facade enhancement grant for you this month. Maybe that will come in next month. They're still working on their end to get it back to us. The second grant, the AARP grant that I shared with you, we did apply for this for a community art board that could be interactive that would cover up the current Caravan Coffee mural on the side of Everyday Market. We did hear back. We did not win that grant, so we are now keeping our eyes and our ears open for other opportunities that could help fund that project. The third grant is the State Farm grant. We did apply for this yesterday. Thank you, Angela, for doing that. This grant's a little different than most, where they only accept a certain number of applicants. So as soon as the application window opens, you have to be on your computer and submitting your application. We were able to do that successfully, so we are in the mix. The way it works as far as winners being chosen is State Farm will actually narrow down to 200 projects. And that will happen mid-September. People will be notified if they made it into the 200. And then from that point, the communities and public get to vote on the projects that they like the best. So if we make it to the 200 in September, I'll let everyone know, because we will want people in our community voting for our project. We did use this grant to apply for the dog park. It's $25,000, and we thought that would be a good use for this grant. And then once the voting is over, the winner will officially be notified in November. So wish us luck. The fourth grant, Phil, I don't know if you wanted to talk about this, but last month I raised to the group that the Gaston Community Foundation grant was available if anyone had ideas. I know Design had a few ideas. We spoke with Angela and Phil about it, and we landed on something that, Phil, you are going to be applying for, not Design,
Right.
correct?
And not, yes, and I'll cover that in the DBDA staff report.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the dog park update. Since we last spoke, we have had another roundtable meeting with David Eisenhower, who is the director at Public Works, and Chuck Flowers, the utilities director, Adrian and Phil. Just a meeting of the minds. We haven't met in a while, and now that the dog park has traction again, we wanted to make sure that we're on the same page and that we understood the level of involvement that they need from us. So we had a very good meeting. Also, we needed to start thinking of ways to begin fundraising again for the dog park. And one idea that we had is, since it's currently the dog days of summer, if any of the local breweries or distilleries would be interested in having one of their beers be tied to the dog park and proceeds be given to the dog park from the beer. And Jekyll and Hyde was very interested. They're on board. They're actually releasing 2 new beers in the coming weeks. One of them is a triple IPA, and this is the one that we chose for the dog park, and it's going to be called I Triple Dog Dare You. So they're going to drop that keg August the 2nd. They're going to throw, I think, an event from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. that is going to be promoted for that beer. They're welcoming families and their dogs to come. And 100% of the proceeds, guys, is going to the dog park. So Frank was very generous. We're very happy to have him on board with helping us. So if you enjoy beer, starting August 2nd, please go to Jekyll and buy 1 or 2 Triple Dog Dare Yous to help us out at the dog park.
I saw a smile there from Adrian and Jim, so I think they'll go support it.
Just, really for my civic obligations, I think it's very important that we support local businesses.
So we can support our local businesses and our dogs at the same time. And if it's a triple IPA, I'm just going to support them one time.
There you go.
That's what I think too. Maybe 1 a day.
What date did you say that was?
August the 2nd, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. They're doing a keg drop event.
Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere at 10 a.m. So
Yeah.
start early. Okay.
And that's all I have for design this month. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mark, welcome back from your vacation, and you have an economic vitality report.
Okay, yeah, it's good to be back. Um, we met this past Tuesday, and first thing we did, as part of our work plan, we analyzed the COVID-19 impact survey that was done by Gaston Business Task Force. There were 370 responses to that, and just I'll highlight 3 items of those surveyed. 78% of the folks are still concerned with cash flow issues. 63% need resources regarding recovery funding for business operations and revenue disruption. And 84% of the survey respondents are in the process of sanitizing their workplaces. And this, like I said, this was part of our work plan, and we talked about it and felt like that even though this survey was done on the 27th of March, that these same concerns, these concerns are still valid concerns, and we're still doing things addressing this. Just like Phil mentioned earlier, he's taken sanitizing things and masks to businesses. So that's obviously still a need. Another item on our work plan was the systematic training of our EV members. And what we tried to do was to find out if there were some things we could be doing now to help us become better committee members and learn more about the Economic Vitality Committee, because we do have some fairly new members on our committee, couple. And anyway, long story short, we reached out to the North Carolina Main Street folks, and there's really no training going on right now. They're working on some things. They're working on some modules, and the training is going to start on August the 3rd, and it will be a virtual training, and there will probably be some additional modules at that time. And I have encouraged our members to participate in that. We also looked at the website, the North Carolina and the National Main Street programs, and there are some things you can look at on the websites as well to learn more about the Economic Vitality Committee. Then the other thing on here, a couple of us went to a webinar led by Brad Rivers with the Gaston Small Business Center at Gaston College. And it was a very interesting webinar. He talked to us about a CARES Act that took place March the 27th. And it's a Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act. $51,724 were sent to each of the community colleges. And the way this works are expert providers, and they can be local folks, will help businesses. Things like banking, cash flow, legal issues, e-commerce, loan packaging, things like this. And these funds are provided to the providers, not the businesses, but they're provided to providers so that they will help the businesses. And so what can we do? We can let our businesses know which Phil is handling, and they can contact the SBC. They can also go through the chamber. Also, along with businesses, nonprofits are also qualified to receive this assistance. So those were the 3 items that we focused on at this past meeting.
Mark, Holy Angels applied for one of those grants and received it.
Good.
And so we are, and one of the other topics that you can get is marketing. So that's the one we went.
Yes. And I didn't list all of the items on there. PPE loan forgiveness was on there. Strategies for scaling back businesses was on there, and they do such a good job. I mean, once you get hooked up with the SBC, they mentor you and counsel you I think pretty much indefinitely.
Yes, that's true.
Great program. That's all I have.
Any questions for Mark on anything? Okay, we'll move along to the promotions committee. We met last week, and I'm going to ask Liz. Liz, are you still with us?
I am, yep.
You want to just give a brief update on the relief concert?
Yes. As you know, we have been working with a number of folks and a number of subcommittees to discuss the possibility of a relief concert that would help raise funds for our downtown businesses. Now, when we started this way back when, we were very optimistic that we were going to be able to do something in the fall, and if not the fall, the spring. I think the last meeting we had, we really started to take a look at this and say, you know, this may not happen as quickly as we'd like it to due to the uptick and the predictions for the fall. But we are continuing to have regular discussions because in the event that a window opens up for us, perhaps in the spring, we want to be ready to go forward with this. And Phil is working with MK Holoneck and Kevin Jonas on connecting with bands that would be willing to perform. They're still really excited about it. So I think it's definitely a possibility, but we're in limbo right now simply because of the situation.
Message deleted.
Okay, thank you, Liz. Couple other things going on. We have Theater in the Park coming. Phil, I don't remember that date for Barnum.
September the 11th and 12th. It'll be a Friday and Saturday performance that we have in Stowe Park in the new amphitheater, and we'll be able to spread the audience out enough so I feel like we'll be able to still have this performance.
That's exciting. I think that's going to be really nice, and it's a great new addition to Stowe Park. It was also suggested at the meeting that apparently Blumenthal has junior productions, and they might be willing to work with us to bring some of their productions to Stowe Park. So we'll be investigating that. And then also we have coming up the fall Thursday night concerts, which will be the last two Thursdays in September and the first two in October. They will last approximately 90 minutes. We don't need volunteers and the bands are secured, but we thought it would be nice to sell our t-shirts and yard signs at that opportunity to just create some more funds for the DBDA. So, and then also Christmas Village is gearing up. It will be the first Saturday in December, and we've received a grant from Claremont of $10,000 and then also $5,000 from the city for seed money to get that started. Last year our cost was $25,000. So there's a lot of new ideas considering blocking Main Street this year for Christmas Village and do something similar to the Fresco Dining. Create ornaments to sell, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and have it all day so that during the day there could be like different activities, especially for children and families during the daytime, ornament painting, cookie decorating, and then the evening we would have Santa and different opportunities, and wanted to consider using Graham for promotions to take photos of the event so that we'll have them for next year. Phil is working on ice skating. So it's a lot of exciting things. And Jennifer Church has agreed to lead us in the Christmas tree Festival of Trees again this year. This will be our third year. So she's already pulling her committee together in order to get that off the ground. Funds will probably be a little tighter this year for the folks who participated last year, so want to look at some opportunities to see if we can help them as well. So exciting things are happening with promotions, and we could considered, someone brought up the fact that maybe we could bring the trolley out for people to see, and help maybe generate some funds, get donations to complete the restoration. So possibly would be great to have it running by Christmas Village. Don't know if that's a possibility, but hey, you can dream big. Halloween, we're going to have the Nightmare on Main Street bar crawl, which I think is going to be October 24th. Would that be correct, Phil?
Yes. And Boo Fest.
Right. How can I forget Boo Fest? So that will be going on the 24th. And then 2 weeks ago, the North Carolina Main Street Award nominations were opened up. And I think we can apply for up to and nominate 5 projects for the annual award. So last year, we nominated the Gobo projections. And so the promotions nomination is due in October. So if you have any ideas, please let me or Phil or Angela know what your thoughts might be on that. Anything else? Questions?
One thing we talked about, I know Nancy, Sister Nancy, you were talking about the trolley. Adrian, I'd like to put a plug in. One thing we discussed is what the original engine train car that from the little train that was down in Stowe Park.
Got them.
If we could somehow, if we do like a Christmas play, a Christmas decoration in Stowe Park under the amphitheater or in front of City Hall for the day to bring out the little train engine so people could use that as for taking photos and maybe accepting donations to restore the other cars.
That would be great. I forgot about that one. Sorry. Okay, any questions for me on promotions, suggestions? Thank you. And now, Seth, do you have anything from the organization committee?
Yes, so we met yesterday and had a great conversation with Sherry Adams from the state Main Street Board. We discussed and got kind of some direction on what it would look like. As many of you know, a lot of development will be happening just right around the corner from where our district is. So Phil and Angela and I have been looking into what that would look like to expand our district, the Main Street district, up into just up to include the middle school and up into include the newest, like right past where the Mason Lodge is. A little bit up just past there where the new construction is. So we got some good direction on what that'll look like and what we need to do and the steps that we need to do to include that into our new district. So that was pretty much, we are still still moving forward on creating a subcommittee for grant searching for the board. So we're continuing to work on that as well.
And Seth, the organization committee is going to have put together a virtual or a public meeting to engage all of our downtown businesses about being able to advertise on the kiosk. So we have Angela and Emily, the design committee has made some progress on what that would look like as far as a package for advertising businesses in the different sections of the kiosk. And so the organization committee is going to take it from there and work with our businesses.
I assume that there'd be some recompense for us in connection with this advertising.
Yes. So the idea was to we would still have it currently we have a COVID discount, but that would only therefore increase the draw, and as we move forward in the future, that people can understand that that is a tool, as an advertisement tool, and that it'd be still a revenue generator, as it intended to do.
Yeah.
And priority and Jim, priority will be given to our downtown businesses. They'll have a first come, first serve, and we'll have a reduced rate before we open it up for corporate
Great.
advertisement.
Okay. Thank you, Seth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Angela's still with us, if she has any report. So I don't have a report as the chair, so we'll move on. Is there any other business?
Hi, hi, it's Angela. I'm just backing into my parking place here. So I can everyone hear me? Yep.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. So I just wanted to say one other mention is that I wanted to thank everyone for all their hard work, because we did receive our the Main Street our Main Street program received its accreditation for 2020. So thank you all, because it is a rigorous standards to achieve that, and that is only achieved through your hard work and dedication to the program and the projects we do and the benefits it has. So that's some validation that you guys do great work. So thank you so much. And that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Angela. I keep forgetting to unmute. Is there any other new business to bring before this board? Then can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second, this is Liz, second.
Thank you.
Wait, Sister Nancy, let me jump in. Cassidy, did you get that? Was that Seth Was that Seth that motioned?
It was not, but it can be me.
Who made the motion?
I thought I did.
Did you? Okay, sorry. I just want to make sure Cassidy got all of that for the minutes.
I did, and if you guys will give me just about 60 seconds, I will switch the recording.
We need to vote on the motion to adjourn.
I have to go through the motion on the floor, if you will. All in favor of adjourning this meeting?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Then we will close this meeting and move to the DBDA meeting. And so we will wait for Cassidy's cue.
All right, we're all set.
Okay, welcome to the DBDA meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. And are there any changes or additions to the minutes? There being none, do I have a motion to accept the minutes as they were circulated?
I moved.
So moved.
Okay, Liz, a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Sounds like so thank you for that, and let us move on to the staff report.
Am I on mute, or can you hear me?
I'm good.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
All right, so I shared my screen again for those of you who can see for our staff report. As Emily mentioned in the design committee, and Sister Nancy mentioned in the promotions committee, we do have Barnum the musical, which will be playing September the 11th and 12th in Stowe Park. And this is a partnership that we have been working with Shane Elks, who created the Black Star Theater. It's a community theater. They have no location. Shane basically works out of his house. He does this on the side. This is a love for him. And so we've partnered with him, and we want to offer more musicals, more plays. During the call to auditions for Barnum, we had a really big turnout of people even who had no previous background in musicals or plays or theaters. So the community really was looking to get involved. And so a lot of them were looking for areas to where they could get some workshops and classes. So we are talking with Shane about having some workshops and classes. So we thought that this would be a good way to apply for the Gaston County Foundation for a grant to offer free classes and workshops throughout the year for dance, voice, acting, several areas in the performing arts. And then we would also, so that the grant would cover the workshops for the community, and then we could hold some more musicals and plays, giving more people an opportunity to get involved with the performing arts and also bring more arts to the community. So we thought this was a win-win for our community. The grant is due by 11:59 tonight. I'm working on it, so I'll be working on it the rest of the day. Belmont Strong.
Quick question.
Yes.
Would there be any grant opportunities through the Gaston Arts Council?
Yes, I was also going to reach out to Kim George about, so that grant would cover the workshops, and then I was going to work with Kim to see if we could apply a grant with Kim and the Arts Council to help fund the actual plays and musicals. So during the Fresco Dining, several of you, thank you, set up and we sold our Belmont Strong t-shirts. We've done really well with our t-shirts. We're actually have got them all paid off, and we're making profit off of every t-shirt now that we sell. If you have not had an opportunity to purchase your Belmont Strong t-shirt, you can log on to our website and make a donation and receive your shirt. And as Sister Nancy said, we will be setting up during the Thursday night pops to continue selling our Belmont Strong t-shirts, because this is currently the only fundraising event that the DBDA has going on. The city recently went through a branding exercise. Angela and Cassidy and Adrian and Jamie Campbell, someone else. Anyway, so we participated with working with Mosaic, and this is the new logo. We, as part of the contract with Mosaic, they will also be working on a logo for the DBDA. And so many of us are very excited about having a new fresh logo and a new look for the DBDA. So stay tuned for that new logo. Unfortunately, we did not get to have our Friday Night Live. So I was communicating with Hank Patterson, who is our agent, about using some, because we paid a deposit for all of these bands. So we were hoping to utilize some of these bands for our relief concert. Well, now that that's been pushed out through early spring of next year, I reached out to Hank to to go ahead and see what their schedule, if their schedules were available to go ahead and just use the same lineup for Friday Night Live 2021. So I'm basically asking permission from you as the board. If you're okay with this, if they are free for these dates, that we'll go ahead and lock in our schedule for next year's Friday Night Live. So are we still, is everyone still good with these bands for next year?
Should we make a motion on that, Phil? Or can we just do it without?
Since there's a lot of money involved here, I'd like to get a motion from the board, to just so I have good guidance moving forward.
So do we have a motion to accept the Friday Night Live lineup as presented?
This is Shelley, so moved.
Second?
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. So I've already emailed Hank Houghton, so he's working to make sure these dates are good. So hopefully we can get these locked down for, early enough for next year. As Sister Nancy mentioned, we have Christmas Village coming up, and yes, that's Mr. Adrian Miller and his son twirling around on the ice skating rink. So I was wanting to bring to your attention, last year we really elevated our Christmas Village by adding the ice skating rink and the rides, and we had a lot of people in downtown. It was a great event, but of course we spent double the amount of money. In previous years, our Christmas Village was around $10,000–$12,000. We spent approximately $25,000 on Christmas Village this past year. We have a $10,000, and so kind of a makeup of that $25,000. We had $10,000 from Claremont Health grant. We had $5,000 from the city. The DBDA contributed about $5,000. We had a few other sponsors, for a couple of $1,000. But then we actually made a little bit of money off of the ice skate rental and the tickets for the slides. So overall, it was about $26,000 that we spent. So this year, we do have our $10,000 grant from Claremont Health. We have $5,000 from the city, and that's where we're at. So we really need to get an understanding of how much money the DBDA, since we did not have our Friday Night Live concert series to generate the money that we normally have. When Mark does his financial report, you can see we have about $5,000 or $6,000 of available funding in our budget. And so it'll be up to us or you if we want to basically deplete the available funding in the DBDA budget to go towards Christmas Village. We can seek additional sponsorships, or, I don't know if the DBDA wants to approach the city about maybe kicking in a little more for Christmas Village. The city gives the DBDA $20,000. $15,000 goes to the Friday Night Live concerts series, and then $5,000 goes towards Christmas Village. So I just wanted to paint kind of in broad strokes where we were at with funding for Christmas Village, to get some feedback from you in the direction that we want to go, because we need to start really locking things down now for Christmas Village.
Do we have any questions on the budget?
I have a couple. So Phil, of the 15 that went to Friday Night Live, from the city. Is any of that still available? Because obviously Friday Night Live did not go forward as we anticipated. So is there any?
Yeah, what the $15,000 for Friday Night Live was budgeted from the city, but we have not actually gotten that money. So I guess if Adrian might want to chime in, I guess we would have gotten that at the end of the fiscal year or the beginning of this new fiscal year. But no, we have not received that money since we did not do the concert series.
I don't remember receiving that request. Bill.
I will work on that request.
But I think to Jim's point, if that money was allocated for Friday Night Live and it was not spent, I would think it'd be reasonable just to carry that over into next year to make sure that you secure the bands for deposits. And then I would suggest that maybe we scale back Christmas Village for 2020. And just because the DBDA doesn't have the money that it anticipated having due to not having the concert series, the city doesn't have the money that we were hoping to have because of the economic crisis. So this may be an opportunity to scale it back and still have a really nice event for people to come out and spend money and support our local businesses, but maybe we don't make it quite as big this year as we did last year. And hopefully things are better in 2021 and we blow it out then.
I would concur with that. I'd be careful about excess spending in these times from the city's perspective. So I concur with that. And, you know, more generally, I guess a question is, what are sort of our contingency plans? You know, is there, I mean, I would assume there's a chance this could go the way of the Friday Night Live concerts if, you know, everyone predicts that, you know, there will be bad, well, I mean, I guess everyone predicts bad things all the time now, but things are supposed to be especially bad perhaps in the fall and early winter. So, you know, is there a chance we might end up in the same boat with Christmas Village that we did with the Friday Night Live series?
Yeah, we probably don't need to have hay rides and carriage rides where people are close together. I would think we'd want to still have the environment be very nice and conducive for people to walk up and down the sidewalks and go shopping, but probably things that put people in close proximity need to be examined.
Okay.
Because we've got flu season coming right along with COVID, so I think I agree with you guys. We need to scale down.
And I think December will be in the frogs and locusts portion of 2020.
That was my concern too, was that I didn't necessarily want us to kind of go all in on this and then have a recurrence pop up in the fall or winter, and we're kind of in the situation we had with the Friday Night Live this spring. So I think it's probably better to play it a little bit more conservative this year and then hope for something better next year.
Would it be considered not to do the ice skating and or the slide in order to, that was our biggest expenses for last year, I believe.
That would be my suggestion.
Comments?
Can ice skating be done in a socially distant manner? I would assume it could. You know, maybe we'd have to limit the number of people out there at any given time. I can't speak to slides. It's been a long time since I've gone on slides.
I was thinking more of the cost as opposed to the socially distancing, because I do believe you could socially distance while you're ice skating. But I was thinking more of that was one of our biggest expenses from last year.
I think, this is Liz, being the grandmother of a 4-year-old who touches everything, I think probably the slide is not the best idea. But, you know, I agree with what everybody is saying about being cautious about this. But if we can figure out how to do the skating, then I think that still provides some fun for people.
And funds with a D. If we,
Yes, that's right.
yeah, if we charge like for skate rentals and stuff. I mean,
yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah.
You know, I'd be more inclined to try and figure out a way to save the ice skating if we have to choose. I'd choose the ice skating over the slide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is the grant from Paramount dependent on the ice skating at all?
Well, that was how we pretty much wrote the grant, was to include the ice skating rink for the overall Christmas Village. Caramont has been great to work with. They and so I have a good relationship with my contact with Bree, and so I'll communicate with Bree, let her know where we're at, that we may need to scale back, but I will work on getting some cost estimates of some items. So I do agree, trying to scale back would be good, not knowing what the climate's going to be with COVID. So one thing that we had talked about, having the street blocked off for the Fresco Dining and people walking up and down the street, with the way that we strung the lights across the street was at nighttime was pretty magical. And it could be even more magical during Christmas when we have all of our lights on the trees and businesses decorated. So, you know, we can talk about, you know, blocking off Main Street so that people can really social distance, and have that, you know, and implement some activities up and down Main Street and in Stowe Park where people are social distance. So we can still have a magical Christmas village without, you know, the ice skating. But I'll work on, for our next meeting, I'll work on some detailed activities and see what we can come up with.
Well, maybe we keep the ice skating, because that was a lot of fun for a lot of people, and look at cutting in some other areas that may not be as popular.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, it's Mark. Does our insurance cover, like, if everything goes south with, like, if we had the ice skating, would we be covered with insurance, or does the company that does the ice skating, would they let us out of the contract if everything went south?
Well, as far as our insurance, we have our regular DBDA insurance, and we have our umbrella accidental, you know, coverage. In case there are any injuries, we would be covered. When we have our Friday Night Live, we purchase additional rain insurance, and so we can only collect on that as if a certain amount of rain actually happens. During the Christmas Village, yeah, it's my understanding that COVID-19 is not part of the insurance policy, but I can communicate with the different ice skating rental companies to see what other activities they have that might be, you know, safe, or, you know, you do have to put a deposit down on these items, and so I can communicate with them about what the refund policy is. And I'll work on those items for our next meeting.
Thanks, Phil. Any other questions on Christmas Village? Comments, suggestions? Okay, Mark, let's give us the good news about the finances.
So, but that was my staff report. If there are any other questions.
Okay, Mark, Treasurer's
Okay.
report.
All right, you should have a copy of the financial report in front of you. It says May the 21st, 2020, but I think everybody knows it's not May the 21st. The current checkbook balance is $29,513.76. We have $7,444.53 in outstanding deposits. And you can look at the allocated project funding there. I won't go over each line item there. That's a total of $30,351.03. And Phil, mentioned the $6,607.26 available revenue. Phil, so overall, the DBDA budget is in decent shape with, almost $30,000. But Phil has not been able to meet with anyone at the bank. They've had that transition with BB&T and all to connect with our PayPal to deposit the $7,400 something. We are tracking the allocated budgets, and those amounts have been broken out for you there that you can see on that first page. We have over $6,000 in unallocated and available funding. We also received a check from Duke Energy Foundation in the amount of $642.20, and Phil has reached out to the foundation to inquire about that check. Any questions for me or Phil?
Seems like a random number. What where did this check come from?
It was a printed check, and it talked about the Duke Energy Foundation. I pulled up, they do have a grant program. I do not recall applying for a grant from Duke Energy Foundation.
$642.23.
Exactly. And so there was no phone call, no phone number, but there was an email that I found. So I did send the email to the Duke Energy Foundation thanking them for their $600 check, but can they please explain what it's for? So so I have not deposited that check either, but I have reached out to try to inquire as to why, the DBDA received that check. So
I wish I'd get unexplained checks. Bills.
They saw the great work that we're doing, and they wanted to be part of it. I don't know, but hopefully I'll get an email back explaining why they sent us a check.
Okay. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Phil. Our agenda, are there any additional reports from any of the committees? Any old or new business? You guys are doing great. I want to thank everybody for the reports and their time this morning. And do we have a motion to adjourn?
This is Shelley, so moved.
Second?
Second, Liz.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And this meeting is adjourned, and I thank everyone for chiming in this morning and some great discussion, and we'll see you all next month, if not sooner.
Great.
Have a good rest of the
Thanks,
week.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.